Are you left or right side dominant? By Nihar Patel. Abstract. My science fair project was Are you left or right side dominant? If a group of people are asked to do a hand, leg, and eye dominance test, then greater than or equal to 75% would be right side dominant. This was supported because on average, 79% use their right hand, foot, eye, and ear to complete the task or test given. This supported that more than 75% of the human subjects were right side dominant. Problem statement. Are you left or right side dominant? Hypothesis. If a group of people are asked to do a hand, leg, and eye dominance test, then more than 75% will be right side dominant. Procedure. First, make a table with the different kinds of dominances listed on the left side. These dominances are hand dominance, foot dominance, eye dominance, and ear dominance. The tests included in these individual dominances: hand dominance, right name, throw a ball, use scissors; foot dominance, kick a ball, step up the stairs, step onto a coin; eye dominance, look at a tube, look in a hole, look at a finger; ear dominance, cup ear, listen through the wall. I have 3 tests for the first individual 3 and 2 for the last. Then start testing them with the individual test given and record them in the notebook under the individual participants and categories listed and in the table that you have made. You may do this as many trials as you like. These are the materials I use: scissors, a ball, stairs, coins, tube, a type of hole to look through, a cup, and 6 human participants. These are my tables that I use to record my results. Throughout my experiment, this table is what I used to record. R equals right and L equals left. Again, R equals right and L equals left. This table was used for my second trial. Results from trial 1. 29% were left-sided and 71% were right-sided. My hypothesis was not supported because my hypothesis stated that above 75% would be right-sided. Results continued. This is my second trial. This graph supports my hypothesis because in this graph, 83% are right-sided, and in my hypothesis, as I expected above, 75% were to be right-sided, and 17 were left-sided. This graph shows and supports my hypothesis. On average from the first and second trial, 79% were right-sided and 21% were left-sided. 34% kicked with their left foot and 66% kicked with their right foot. What interests you about this topic, and where did you get the idea for your project? There are many things that interest me about this topic, one being disproving a myth, exploring the brain and how each side works, as well as trying to prove whether my hypothesis is true or not. As during last year's science fair, I did the experiment how cell phone usage affects the brain. I knew that this year I wanted to do something involving the brain. With that being said, I went on Science Buddies and found the science fair idea. Are you left or right side dominant? If you found this idea in public research, did you modify this idea? And if so, how? I modified this by using a different amount of trials, and I also did not make a final chart. I found my percentages from the original chart and did the same experiment twice. What question are you trying to answer, and how did you go about answering it? The question I'm trying to answer is, are you left or right side dominant? I answered it by conducting an experiment with 6 different people and in 2 different trials, with various different tests for the 4 categories: ear, foot, hand, and eye dominance. These tests included hand dominance, write their name, use scissors, throw a ball; foot dominance, kick a ball, step up the stairs, step onto a coin; eye dominance, look in a tube, look in a hole, look at a finger; ear dominance, cup their ear and listen through a wall. What did you learn about the science behind your project before and during the experiment? I learned that right-handed people usually use the left hemisphere when they are processing language. I learned that there is some correlation between the side we use in our brain and the side we use in our body. Neurons are how the cells communicate. During the experiment, I learned more than average or right-sided, as well as how the brain works. I also learned many things about how the brain and the body work together. If you had to do it again, what would you change? What improvement would you make? I would add more trials to my results so that I would have more support and reason. I would also add more people to my experiment, as it would make a more diverse group of results. I would also have added more notes about the testing itself while it was going on. What's next? Continue the project? Go on to a different topic? Next, I think I will not continue the same project, but we'll go on to this into a different topic involving the brain and how it works. This is because there's so much that we do not know about the brain. Also, I want to understand the brain more because without our brain, we cannot live or even operate. Based upon what you have learned, how can this knowledge benefit society? The topic of my report is important to society because it helps us to understand why we are dominant in some body parts and some not. This research helps society also understand the way our cerebral hemisphere works. It will also give us a better understanding of the brain and how it works through different body parts. It might improve machines because if they know this research and on average the most dominant parts of each human body part, then they can make their machines more user friendly. It will better the world because it will make machines and technology more user friendly and can help to know people better and understand them on another level. Because you know the tendencies of right and left side dominant people. A short summary about the origin of the human brain. The origin of the human brain dates back before the time of the first animals. The modern human brain had been believed to come into existence about 200,000 years ago. About 360 million years ago, our ancestors started to colonize, giving rise to the mammals about 200 million years ago. These creatures already had a very small neocortex. 6.2 million years ago, humans started to walk and stand upright, and they started to make tools. This increased the size of the brain slightly. A neocortex is extra layers of brain or neural tissue that are on the surface of the brain. They are responsible for the complexity and flexibility. One part of the history of the neurocortex that we do not understand is when it evolved. That is a mystery that still hasn't been solved. Statistics about right and left dominance. 90% of the population of the world is right-handed and other 10% is left-handed. About 60 to 70% of people that are left-hand dominant use the left side of the brain for language, but it's not dominant. Both hemispheres are responsible for different kinds of behaviors. The right hemisphere of the brain is responsible or dominant for your spatial abilities, facial recognition, social imagery, and music. The left side is dominant for calculations, math, and other logical abilities. These two hemispheres are connected and work together as one. They then share information through the corpus callosum. People that are left side dominant or left brain dominant tend to be more analytical, logical, detailed, and fact oriented, numerical, and they're more likely to think in words. People that are right brain or right side dominant tend to be more creative, free minded, and they can see the bigger picture. They are like to visualize more than to think in just words. The dominance of the hand can be overcome with practice and reinforcement. The most we know about the right and left side comes from a study that was in people who had the corpus callosum split. This isolates the right from the left. My conclusion. My hypothesis is if a group of people are asked to do a hand, leg, and eye dominance test, the greater than or equal to 75% will be right side dominant. During the first trial, 75% of the people tested were right side dominant, and the other 25% were left side dominant. In the second trial, 83% were right side dominant and 17% were left side dominant. Right side dominant subjects were even on average greater than 75%. This hypothesis was proven to have been supported. Credits. I give credits to many people for helping me with the science fair project. I thank Himal Patel for helping me to figure out what supplies I needed and helping me to buy them. I thank her for supporting me and as well participating in my experiment. I thank Dhruv Patel for supporting me in my experiment and for participating. I want to also thank Amit Patel for participating in my experiment and Sunil Patel for participating. I want to thank Chirag Patel for participating as well as critiquing my work and telling me where I can improve. I want to thank Slok Patel for taking the pictures for the progress during my experiment and for him supporting me. This is the end of my presentation. These are the resources I used to complete my historical and scientific background, as well as the sources I used to help develop my ideas. These resources help me to learn more about the brain and how it works, and help me to achieve this project. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a very nice day. Thank you.